I'm sure most of you have heard of Mount Abu. But there's something very special about Mount Abu that you're going to learn about today. Okay? You see, I studied in Gujarat for 2 years. And as you all know, that's a dry state, which is why I ended up drinking more while I was there than any other time in my life. Because it wasn't allowed, you know? And also, if you had to drink, you had to plan it in advance. So on a Wednesday or a Thursday, you had to start planning booze procurement, which is why we always had booze on a weekend, which is why we always drank it every weekend, whether we had a big assignment coming up or not, whether we had fallen sick or not, whether we felt like drinking or not, we just drank, okay? And what did we drink? We drank bad rip-offs of cheap whiskey. There was this fake Bonnie Scotch whiskey, and then there was a Green Label whiskey. I mean, Green Label. I still don't know whether that was a concoction of malt or chai patti. Because it came in this plastic bottle that was, completely sealed at the top, but you could make out that the liquid, whatever it was, had been injected in from the bottom. But we still drank it because prohibition. And when we got breaks, we went to Diu, which was close by and a union territory and whose economy was supported by Gujaratis who went there to drink. And then there was Abu. You see, the special thing about Mount Abu is that it is the first train stop outside Gujarat on the way to Delhi. And classmates who did that route used to tell us that there's a booze shop right outside the railway station. So when the train stopped at Abu, they would hop off, dash out, drink, and dash back. The Abu Dash. And when a friend of ours was getting married in Delhi, 3 of us, Manish, Ketan, and I, were very excited to go, also because we'd get a chance to try the Abu Dash. We got there late one evening, and Manish and I jumped off the train, and we just ran. Because it's a dash, right? Also, growing up in India and traveling by train, you're always told, don't get left behind on the platform. I actually don't know a single person who's been left behind on the platform outside of the movies, but that fear has been instilled in me from childhood. Like my nani would always say, ki beta, wherever you are on the platform, always keep one eye on the train. And if the train starts moving, just leave whatever you're buying. Water, aloo puri, stardust, just leave it behind. Even if that guy owes you change, just leave it and come to the closest bogie and board the train there and then come from inside. And my nana would always say, हाँ, but वो change ले आना वापस. क्योंकि there's enough time for that. And so here we were, leaving the Abu station, aware that now we could no longer see the train. But luckily, as soon as we left the station, it was right there on the left-hand side, as promised. Big Kingfisher hoarding, lots of men in banyans hovering around. And I went straight to the guy and I said, Jaldi, I said, 3 beer, 1 opener. You see, we decided to take the beers back to the train because, 1, we didn't know how much time we had. And 2, Ketan was waiting there, keeping watch, just in case. And the guy tells us, 1 beer ka 250. 4 times the regular price for the Abu Dash. But okay, we realized we had a bigger problem. We had forgotten to bring something to carry the beers in. You can't just enter a train carrying beer. It's illegal. So I asked the guy, I said, aapke paas kuch hai? And he just stared at me blankly. And then he bent down and ever so slowly, taking all the time in the world, he pulled out this empty carton of beer, which said Kingfisher on all sides. But we didn't have a choice. So we placed the beers inside. We crushed the carton as much as we could. I pressed it against my chest, trying to cover the logo and the brand name in whatever way I could. And we ran back inside the station. The train was still there. We ran. We boarded it. Manish turned in. I turned in. And then I felt someone catch me from behind. I turned. And I saw the familiar khaki uniforms of 2 railway police officers. Chal beta, one of them said, pointing to the platform. And I meekly followed them off the train, not knowing how bad this was going to be and whether I was going to end up in a jail in a Mount Abu all alone, while my friends went to Delhi. Because Manish, as soon as I got caught, he kept running. He didn't turn. But Ketan, who was supposed to keep watch and had for some reason missed us earlier, he now saw me walking on the platform and he came running and he said, "Arey, beer mil gayi, beer mil." And the cop said, "Tu bhi aaja." And then started a little game. See, we realized very quickly that we hadn't committed a crime as yet because we hadn't consumed alcohol on the train. But the cops, they alternated between sometimes giving us hope that this wasn't too serious and sometimes, threatening to take us to the thana to darj karwao everything. Basically, they were playing for time, angling for a bigger bribe. And the big advantage they had in this negotiation was that they knew exactly how long the train was stopping at the station. Whereas, I was negotiating, Nani's voice in my head, one eye on the train, ready to let go of the beer if I had to, but still clutching onto that carton because what if we could take it? I mean, why waste time having to bend down and pick it up again? And then the train began to move. Ever so slowly as it always does in the beginning. And I was about to abandon the beer and this Abu Dash plan when the cop suddenly said, "Le jao. Har bottle ka 250." And we couldn't believe what we heard, but we somehow scrambled to get some money out. We just paid him. We turned and he said, "Ruko. Are chutta to lete jana." And now, Nana's voice in my head, one part of me was reaching back to get the change, another part was still rushing to the train, a third was holding onto that carton for dear life. I somehow managed to run and we jumped and we boarded the train. The cops jumping in right behind us. And then from here, he said, "Lekin is baar peete hue pakde gaye na, to chhodenge nahi." And that's when we realized we had now paid about 8 times the regular price for these beers. So we just had to drink them now. But the cops, who were angling for even more money, they kept pacing up and down the train, staring at us every time they passed. And finally, Ketan decided to drink his beer in the bathroom. We kept watch outside. I really don't know how he did it. Because when Manish went in after him, he came out much faster, holding his breath and saying, "Just now, paega." And he still hadn't finished. He had a little beer left. And we heard footsteps approaching, so Manish quickly went to the open doorway. He chucked the beer back and he threw the bottle out. We turned around and we saw these 2 elderly gentlemen who were just staring at us very sternly. And then luckily they just turned and went into the bathrooms. So I went and recovered the last bottle of beer and I came out and I waited for a while. But these 2 gentlemen were showing no sign of leaving. And the thought of going in there after them now was even less appealing. So I decided to try what Manish did. I went to the open doorway, nervously held on to the bar, leaned out a little bit, took a quick swig and came back. Not bad. Manish covered me. Ketan went to the far end of the compartment to keep a watch for the cops. And I tried it a few times and, it didn't seem so bad at one level. I mean, fresh air, chilled beer. But this wasn't so simple. You see, what was happening is there are these poles that were rushing past, okay? So you had to really time your swing out, keep perfect body position, and then while drinking the beer, you had to look for the next approaching pole so you could swing back in time. I mean, in that moment, I felt very sporty. The only problem with all this is that with all this happening, I didn't manage to drink too much beer with every swig. So after multiple attempts, even though I was getting better, I had barely got through about half the bottle. And that's when Ketan signaled that the cops were coming. And Manish was getting impatient and he said, "Aur kitna? Chhod de." But I wasn't ready to let go. So I said, "Ek aur." And I got ready for one final swig to just chug the whole thing back. Because, my form had gotten better. I realized that if I jut my butt out, I had better body balance. And I also figured that if I had timed my thing just when the first post passed by, I had more time outside. And so one final time, I swung out, body position perfect, beer in the air, ready for the final assault. And it's just that in the tension of all this, my jaws clenched for some reason. I could feel cold beer rushing into my mouth, but just stopping in front of my teeth. But I didn't panic. I stayed there for a little longer, and then I calmly swung back and pretend swallowed a lot of beer, did a fake burp, and then with all the swag in the world, I tossed that half-full bottle of beer out of the door as if I had chucked the whole thing. And Manish said, "Khatam." I said, "Haan." Ketan came by to tell us that the cops had turned the other way, so we actually had more time. But I said, nah, it was much better like this. And we all walked back to our seats, a mix of relief and pride. My chest swelled up the most. I had just paid 8 times the regular price for a bottle of beer, of which I drank half. And I was thrilled. And that is why prohibition just doesn't work. Thank you. Hi, thanks so much for watching that crazy story of me and my friends in college. If you enjoyed it, then you know the drill. Please press like, it really helps. And what helps even more is if you can share it with your friends, especially those you've shared such experiences with. And the ultimate thing you can do is to subscribe to this channel, because if you enjoy stories, there are a whole lot more stories told by wonderful storytellers right here.